Good evening. This is Wednesday, April 30th, 188 days until the 2008 presidential election. In a campaign whose race for the superdelegates is reportedly secretly over, in a campaign the subtext of which has been complaint and even metaphorical martyrdom, they are words that would have sent supporters of Senator Clinton into a paroxysm of rage, that the nation needed a president, quote, that has testicular fortitude. Our fifth story on the countdown, that there is no rage and that there are no death threats tonight, explicable thusly. The gonadial reference was made by a labor leader as he endorsed Senator Clinton, intending it as a compliment to her fortitude. This was Paul Gibson, president of an Indiana steelworkers local, as Senator Clinton was described as smiling sheepishly behind him, insisting that to alter and improve NAFTA, America needed, well, let's let him say it.
I truly believe that that's going to take an individual that has testicular fortitude. You know, that's exactly right. That's what we got to have.
It is the second odd thing said on her behalf in 24 hours in North Carolina, which, had the words been directed against Senator Clinton rather than for her, might have provoked the campaign's well-oiled umbrage machine. In endorsing the senator yesterday, North Carolina Governor Mike Easley said Clinton was so determined that she, quote, makes Rocky Balboa look like a pansy, unquote. An odd photo op highlighted the day on the trail. Senator Clinton's typical morning commute with an average Indiana sheet metal worker. Nothing typical nor average for either of them. Jason Wilfing and his family driving 45 minutes from their home outside of South Bend this morning to meet Senator Clinton at her hotel in Plymouth, Indiana. He was not even driving his own pickup truck, which could not accommodate the Secret Service. This one is a loaner from his boss. He normally does not commute to work in a motorcade that includes 8 low-gas mileage SUVs either. Senator Clinton having little time for small talk with her host, as she multitasked, doing a radio interview by telephone. Eventually, time for the pit stop, the whole enterprise choreographed down to a specific gas station, a specific pump at that gas station, so that cameras could be in position when the caravan arrived. Senator Clinton paid for the half tank, but Mr. Wilfing pumped the gas, the senator admitting she's out of practice.
Oh, I haven't personally bought it for a long time because of the Secret Service. So, you know, I have a unique situation, but I sure have heard a lot from so many people about what it costs them to buy gas.
That stunt, an opportunity for Senator Clinton to make a pitch again for her summer gas tax holiday, which she said would spare families like Jason Wilfing's. When our own correspondent Ron Allen pointed out that Senator Obama and other critics have called that proposal a gimmick that would save families like Mr. Wilfing's only $28 all summer, Senator Clinton suddenly had new beneficiaries for her plan.
It is very helpful to a lot of people. You know, the people who drive long distances, and there are folks who commute 60, 75 miles, so it's going to be a lot more for them. It also is really important for our truckers. The American Truckers Association said that just in the summer months, truckers would save like $2 billion.
So why didn't she spend the morning riding shotgun in the cab of a semi? Senator Clinton's day did not get better when she went inside to the convenience store and could not operate the coffee machine without assistance. It also did not get better with this news. Today's superdelegate endorsements favoring Senator Obama 3-2. Senator Clinton needing about 2/3 of remaining undecided superdelegates under the rosiest of projections. And Politico.com reporting that Capitol Hill insiders are telling them that the battle for congressional superdelegates is over. One prominent Obama surrogate hinting that Senator Obama was the victor. Asked which way the committed but unannounced superdelegates are leaning, Senator Claire McCaskill telling Politico, quote, as James Brown would say, I feel good. Senator Obama narrowly leading in the new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll out this evening, 46-43. The Keith number of other plus not sure plus margin of error is 11.1. As for concerns that the Democratic primary fight could hurt the party's chances in November, putting aside for a moment who the actual nominee might be, when asked their preference for the outcome of the general election, more than half of those surveyed choosing the generic Democrat, 51-33. On that note, let's bring in our own Howard Kleinman, senior Washington correspondent for Newsweek magazine. Howard, good evening.
Good evening, Keith.
Senator Clinton's drive-along this morning. I mean, this was obviously it kept the gas tax holiday story alive for another day, and by no means was it John Kerry in a germ-free suit that looked like a giant condom or Mike Dukakis in the tank. But did this go well?
Well, you can't say it went very well. Some of the stage theatrics of it got out of hand for her. But talking to the Clinton people tonight, they're happy about it. because they're relentlessly focused on this issue. They're doubling down on advertising in Indiana and New Hampshire, Indiana and North Carolina to the extent they can, with the gas tax holiday thing, plus the mention of the mortgage foreclosure freeze. They think it symbolizes the kind of campaign that she wants to run, and they've taken on such a note of us versus them, of us versus the elites. It sounded to me like when I talked to the Clinton campaign headquarters that they were all sitting around in muscle T-shirts getting ready to drive off in their Harleys. They've got a real us versus them mentality that includes the media, that includes Barack Obama, who they've managed to convince themselves is the paragon of elitism.
But who's the us? We know who the them is. It's everybody. Who's the us? Because there are economists who, besides Senator Obama, economists are pointing out the price of gas could go up, demand would go up, refineries wouldn't be able to meet the demand. Gas companies might see an opportunity to, scarf up more profit with the price being dropped by some small percentage. Also, she's aligned again with John McCain on this. Am I missing something here? Is this not in terms of the campaign, but in terms of the context of the actual issue? Is this where she really wants to be?
Yes, it's where she wants to be. It's very much where she wants to be. It really is shot and beer. A bowl off. I expect her to be driving the 18-wheeler herself down I-70. And they don't care about the theory. They don't care for once about what Paul Krugman says. They used to like what Paul Krugman says. And as for the relationship with McCain, they say that they would pay for the holiday with windfall profits taxes on the oil companies, something McCain doesn't do. They've just managed to convince themselves that they're going to go for every vote of every person who resents the system. The theory of it be damned. And they've taken lots of hits for their mortgage foreclosure freeze. They're taking similar hits on this. They've made a virtue of necessity and are trying to glory in it as they become the sort of working man's friend campaign as things play out here. That's the role that Hillary has finally come to in this campaign, and the one it seems that she's going to play out from here to the end of the nomination process.
The remark about testicular fortitude about Senator Clinton by one of her supporters, if this had been said critically of her, obviously the political world would be aflame tonight and dire consequences would be threatened as we speak. But just on the substance, what this man here, Paul Gibson, said, is this a compliment? Does this help her campaign or her image?
Well, the mind reels at the possible campaign trinkets we're going to see now, Keith. They love it. They absolutely love it. And they love the implication behind it. If you put this together with the pansy remark from North Carolina, they love the implication of it. They're trying to paint Barack Obama as somehow an effete elitist, and Hillary, who spent all her time, years ago with all the soft money crowd, who had the fat cats with her as opposed to the internet crowd at the beginning of the campaign, they're trying to paint her as the working girl. That's the role that she's got. They pick through the the polls and looking for support among working people, white-collar Catholics, seniors, those working women in Pittsburgh, and now they're going for that same crowd in Indiana, North Carolina. That's what she's got left to play. That's what's on the table, Keith, and she's playing it for all it's worth. And one thing about the Clintons, they're never embarrassed about where they end up in politics, and this is where she's ended up.
Check your shame at the door, indeed. Howard Fineman of MSNBC and Newsweek. Not your shame, you know what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean.
As always, sir, great thanks.
Thank you, Keith.